Hello, and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Catherine Haleko, and I'm here with Terry Morrow. Say hi, Terry.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast, we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Terry and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics, because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. So this week, we watched the West Wing episode, The Wake Up Call, which was kind of all about parenting President Bartlet.
Yeah.
But first, another family show, One Day at a Time. We watched the episode The Man, in which Schneider's horrible father came to visit. And briefly, Schneider decided in order to please his father, he was going to take the building condo, which would put everybody out on the street, basically. He did change his mind, but it may have consequences.
Yes. Yes, the last thing we see is him looking at this bottle of expensive liquor that his father has gifted him, and, one of the few sort of nuanced moments in a really, really black and white episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's about as subtle as that title. The Man!
Yes.
It's like, I like Alan Ruck, always happy to see him. How you doing there, man? Glad you got a paycheck, but boy, was that a one-note performance. I mean, It was written, I'm sure, exactly that way.
Right.
It's like, we're going to mention that he's politically conservative, and from there on, you don't have to think of anything else about this guy. He is just, after he disowns his son, he's going to go tie a girl to the railroad tracks. That's just the kind of guy he is. I'm surprised they didn't put hiss up on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I think they brought a little bit of nuance to the storyline, both in her boyfriend saying, well, gee, selling it for a condo is a good business idea, and Schneider's been holding your rent the same for all these years.
Right.
It's not necessarily a black and white evil versus good. It's life. It's the world,
Mm-hmm.
And also the fact that although we are clearly meant to see him rebuffing his father as the reemergence of the light against the dark, it still does have repercussions for him. It's impossible to know why it has repercussions for him, because this guy was painted as so incredibly unappealing and one note and cartoonish. So who the heck cares if he doesn't want to see you anymore? Yay!
Right, which is how Penelope reacted.
Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously for Schneider, there's something more to it.
Right.
And, maybe a little bit of nuance in that character would have been helpful. Maybe every now and then you can see something appealing to him that...
Well, the only thing he did was pay for rehab many times.
Yeah, and then throw it in his face, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he gets points for that. I just wish... there's many, many storylines in which they allow things to be complicated. And this just seemed to be so simplified right up to the last moment, which was not necessarily earned. The whole thing with the Alex and his grandma, that was kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
In the extremely nice-looking laundry room.
Yeah, the very, very fancy laundry room. And they changed the machines from coin-operated to pay with your phone, so she just throws her phone right into the washing machine. Yes, but that was a nice moment of she found the marijuana that Penelope had confiscated from Alex. Lydia found it in Penelope's clothes.
Yes.
Which also goes back to the whole, these things are so out of order, because that seemed like it happened weeks ago, and she's just now washing those clothes. Then they did have, Alex took the mature route of admitting that it was his when...
I was very glad about that. It seemed like we were heading towards this cartoony slapstick misunderstanding plot.
Right.
And they pulled it out to something deeper. And I wish they could have done that in the main plot, too.
Mm-hmm.
Sometime before the last, 30 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. sometimes they, with their issue stuff, they do make an effort to sort of see different sides.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why it's disappointing when there's somebody comes in that is just so cartoonish. He was a cartoon.
And as you said, only Mateo was kind of the voice of reason, being like,
yes,
dude, he hasn't raised your rent in 17 years.
Yeah,
That's kind of
right.
That's, you can't expect that to
yes.
continue.
I really don't entirely know what the heck they're doing with that character, but it's nice to see him. Oh, hi there.
It's
I remember you.
It's very weird. Yeah. Like, I don't know why, because in earlier episodes, she's like, well, I'm not ready to kiss you yet or whatever. Like,
yeah.
Why not? I don't understand why she's holding back, you know?
Yeah.
They didn't make that clear.
No, they haven't.
If she has a reason for it, it hasn't been. Maybe they discussed it in a future episode that was meant to be aired, 5 episodes ago. I don't know, but we only have 2 left, so I don't know.
He's just a very patient dude.
Yes, exactly.
And he'll do your he'll look at your taxes. He'll look at your taxes or whatever. He'll be your accountant.
Right.
That ain't a bad deal.
Exactly. All right. Well, that was One Day at a Time, The Man. So let us move on to the wake-up call on the West Wing, which was a funny title for them to use, given the fact that the previous episode featured like 5 wake-up calls.
Yes.
Literal wake-up calls in a hotel. And this one was about CJ having to decide whether she should wake the president because of a crisis situation.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be back in the White House, but this one was kind of rough. I agreed with the West Wing Weekly podcasters that there was a lot of just annoying stuff.
Yeah. This is the same pattern we observed the last time they went back and forth between the campaign trail and the White House. You end the campaign trail episode going, gee, I wonder how things are going with my good friends in the White House. And then you go there and you go, well, that's really sad. Let's go back on the trail.
Let's leave now. We're good.
I don't like that.
We checked in. We found that things were kind of a mess. And so now let's go back out on the trail.
Yes. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now I remember why we're not wanting to do this every week. Okay.
Right.
But
and a little Lord John Marbury goes a long way, and there was
it does.
Way more than a little in this episode.
Yeah. A small amount of fun in him dealing with new people in jobs, never having, so we get Kate meeting him for the first time, dealing with, one would think not meeting him for the first time since she's been in diplomatic work for quite some time, I think.
Right.
Or, but CJ being the new Gerald and all that, so a little bit of amusement, but yeah, it could have been, I don't mind it so much, but, doesn't really serve the plot in any particular way.
Yeah.
I kept waiting for him to have some sort of surprisingly profound point of view on their problem with the president. Yeah. Being, and he really didn't.
No, he really didn't. It was CJ who came up with the idea that, was probably going to be what worked to help diffuse the situation.
Yes.
So,
what we need
CJ,
to do is...
who was on, 3 hours sleep and being barked at by both the First Lady and the President just for doing her job. So
yes, that was rough. That was, and I'm, the final solution being, we're just not going to listen to Abbey is possibly not tenable, but...
Yeah.
And then Mom and Dad are fighting in the next room.
Right. Just close that door.
Can somebody please get CJ a pair of good headphones and some soothing music to do her work for? Okay?
Or maybe they should have their fights in the residence, not in the Oval Office. Just a thought.
Or maybe she should just kind of have the steam pipe trunk distribution venue on hold for when there is marital discord next door. Nobody will find me here. I can take a nap.
Right. Yeah, she probably needs one of those. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was rough. The whole thing is so uncomfortable because really, you know what? Maybe he's right that he can't do the job.
Yeah.
So I guess that gives Russell, which is questionable as well. But, possibly this stuff shouldn't have to be run around all the time. But you don't want to think that about Bartlet.
Right.
But I don't think there was the great moment where you finally do get him fully aware and he solves all the problems. And yes, this is why we need to make this work.
Right.
it sort of was out of their hands all along. So might as well just let him sleep was kind of the upshot.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. So, but many uncomfortable moments, and poor CJ. She kept it together pretty good.
She did, yeah. I was sort of wondering, like when they very first showed her, she fell into bed at 12:25 or whatever it was, and then next thing you see is her phone ringing. But I was waiting to see like there being someone in the bed with her. If she was still with the park ranger or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So. No such luck for CJ.
He's not as patient as Mateo. He's out of there.
Yeah, he's probably gone. So.
But so just pretty much sad all around, and the Miss World thing is just so very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, I completely buy, and I instantly knew that the reason, Margaret, that appointment was on the schedule every year is because Leo wanted to go chat with a pretty woman.
Right.
And I totally buy that of Leo. That would have been like the little light spot in his day to get
like
him through all the other stuff.
Thing.
And that's absolutely cool. But you know what? When there's, when Leo is no longer in the job, you can kind of use your super assistant powers to make that go away.
Right, but then they needed him to distract the New York Times.
That turned out to be funny. I think
on the
podcast
they made a big deal about how this guy was like swayed by this beautiful woman, but they were actually talking about a specific issue that was something that he had an interest in.
Right.
So
but still, the subtext was hubba.
Of course, the subtext was, but they didn't acknowledge that there was some substance.
That's true. The whole thing was just kind of generally icky and could easily have been removed.
Yes, exactly.
It could have been a one-liner, like a 10-second exchange between CJ and Margaret, where Margaret brings it up and CJ goes, "Yeah, I bet Leo enjoyed that," and Margaret goes, "Oh, okay," and it goes away.
And
that would have been funny, and that's as much as you need that for.
Mm-hmm.
Or just see if Leo's in the building, tell him to take the meeting.
Which he was.
And could easily have put that on his schedule, I think, since he doesn't seem to be all that busy.
Exactly. In his office with no furniture.
That's right. They could bring a folding chair for her. It'd be fine.
Right, she wouldn't mind.
I bet there's like 25 guys in the office who would have brought that in for her.
Yeah.
Ed and Larry would have had it right there.
Well,
I don't know.
So next week we don't think we'll be watching a West Wing because the West Wing Weekly is doing one of their bonus episodes instead of watching Fredonia, which has been
historically, the last week of the month they seem to be doing this. So we are going to assume they are, which means they probably won't. But either way, we will gain a week on if they do have one, we'll just get a week, behind, I guess.
Right.
Which we will make up later.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead with One Day at a Time. It's the 11th episode of the third season. It's called A Penny and a Nicole. And since we won't have West Wing, we are going to sample Fosse Verdon on FX, which is about Bob Fosse and Gwen Verdon, and it has a lot of Hamilton roots in it. The cabinet is pretty much all there working on it. So that's why we're interested to check that out. So Definitely. We'll do that.
Okay.
And we'll watch like the first two or so. And I think they'll be available at by next week.
Right.
Good. So that'll be it for Around 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Bye, Terry.
Bye, Catherine.
Bye, everyone.